In today's show, the tornado on May 20th affected thousands of Oklahomans. We devote this show to those whose lives have been changed forever by the devastating storms that rocked our great state. About 12,000 homes were destroyed and 33,000 lives affected by the EF5 tornado that struck the Moore area on May 20th, killing 24 people and injuring more than 350. The Oklahoman photographers and News OK videographers were some of the first media there during and immediately after the tornado hit. Here are two videos that show the real emotion felt by a mother who found her son alive and survivors of the tornado as they search for loved ones.
Tornado has leveled hundreds of houses. Behind me is Briarwood Elementary School, where students and teachers had to be dug out of the rubble. Photojournalist Tim Money and I have spent the last 3 hours walking around in the almost inconceivable devastation.
I watched it form and so I'd head up this way. My mother-in-law and my brother-in-law lost their homes in the May 3rd tornado, came the same path, well, just a little bit north, another mile north. That's why we were trying to find them. I can't get a hold of my brother-in-law, but.
I have a little tiny space about this big in a closet off my laundry room, which is in the centermost part of the house. It has steel doors because it used to be a garage. So I was in there and I felt it coming at me. I just held onto the door and said, "We will not be harmed, we will not be harmed," and we weren't.
I still have yet to find my F-150 pickup, and I don't know where it's at. And it was full-size 2007 Crew Cab Super Crew F-150, and I don't know where it's at. We did what we could do and wrote it out. And I've been involved with. I spent 27 days down and working the bombing, and May 3rd bombing. I worked 9 days on MP duty, and I'm a retired MP from the Oklahoma Guard, and I've always just done it for somewhere else. And this is the first time it's ever happened to us. So it's just phenomenal, and not a good phenomenal at all. But I'm gonna be okay. We're gonna get back. We're definitely Okies, and that's what we're known for. We'll come back.
Now, one of the hardest hit areas, and what some are referring to as ground zero, is the Plaza Towers Elementary School, where 7 children lost their lives during the tornado. Here is a look inside the devastated school.
This is the gymnasium, and this first, second, third grades, and I think possibly the kindergartners was back in this area too. I believe that's where they found the first victims come out of that building right there.
And that's where your wife was?
Yes.
Okay, and she teaches?
Second grade.
Okay.
And she had kids down on the floor in front of her, and they were bent over in the hallway, and the hallway door slung open, and then the vacuum lifted the roof, and then the debris started flying through. And she claims that she saw one of the brick walls collapse over on some kids.
You said that they, like the ceiling opened above them?
Yeah, the door slung open first, and then the vacuum came through, and then it lifted the roof, and everything started crashing in on them. This was the hallway that takes you out to the playground. You got this class, and another class. This is the classroom. 4 classes on each side, 8 classrooms. You can see the Charlie Brown and Lucy still up on the wall over there. They pretty much cleared the desk, but there was desks set up right through there that still had their books and everything laid out for their classwork that they were doing. Her desk was over in that corner.
So how do school officials handle an emergency of this magnitude? And how do they tell the parents of the children who died? These are questions the Moore superintendent had to answer. Here's what she told us.
The safety and security of our students is the most important thing. We knew at the time that we had to make the call on dismissal, that stay and cover was the best way to handle the situation. Command center, it has been set up. We were greeted by them and they said, okay, here's what's going on. We have some fatalities and we're going to need your assistance in working with the parents. And so they briefed us on what they were going to do. So they finally decided, and this was at about 10:30, that we would go in and work with the parents, and they had decided the way they wanted to do the identification was for us to talk to the parents and help them determine what the kids had worn to school that day. We knew, or we thought we knew, the numbers had not been confirmed yet, but we thought that night that we had lost 7 of our babies and 7 families had lost their children, that they're not in this by themselves, that their bravery and their courage is honored and should be rewarded, and that we're going to fix this. We can't fix the tragic losses. We can't fix that. But there are some things that we can fix. And we will do that.
Now, classes at Moore Public Schools have been canceled for the remainder of the year, but school officials wanted the children and teachers at Plaza Towers to be able to see each other once again. Here is their joyful reunion.
A joyous day at Eastlake Elementary as parents and kids reunited with teachers and their classmates and friends from Plaza Towers Elementary today here, just a couple days after the storm. A lot of hugs, a lot of tears, a lot of stories exchanged as the family atmosphere looked back at the tornado that hit Plaza Tower Elementary.
To me, parents of students that I even know just have come up to me and thanked me, and really, we did an amazing job as staff and faculty. But those children were the heroes. They did amazing.
I'm so glad all these people are alive. I didn't think any of us were going to make it. We were just curled up in the hallway, and all you can really do is pray.
A lot. A lot. They've been great. The school, I can't believe it's gone. It breaks my heart. So they mean a lot. They're great teachers, and they're in our lives, Just to see them in life, it's just refreshing to know that they're all right.
A lot of joy, and even when we've been cleaning up and taking care of different things, we've just been laughing and trying to just realize how fortunate we are.
Eight kids and 2 teachers I know that were completely covered. And I said, there's people here, and they started digging them out. And then they had to They had to like wedge me out. My legs were caught, and they had to help me get out. But they did it. There was like 3 or 4 guys. Don't know who they are, but they were my heroes.
What an emotional time for all of the people involved. They will always have a unique bond. How do Oklahoman photographers get those amazing pictures and videos? Hear from one of our talented photogs next. And what a mother and her 2 children did to survive the storm. That's coming up.
Everyone gets excited on game day. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your sports news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to newsok.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Hello, this is Mary. I can help you.
Hi, my grandma wants to know how to record my show.
Press the guide button on the remote.
Abuelita, toca el botón guide.
Now find your show on the screen and press record.
Ahora busca el programa en la
pantalla.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Everyone has their morning routine. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your morning news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to theoklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
One of our photographers who was first on the scene was there at Briarwood Elementary after the tornado went through. He sat down with me to discuss what he saw and experienced. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, you actually got footage of the tornado.
Yes, I did. I had heard the news reports and tried to make it down ahead of the path of the tornado. Drove south as fast as I could, probably breaking a few laws along the way, but did manage to get south. And right about the time the tornado started, as it was cutting across more, then I kind of paralleled it to the south, about a half mile south of the tornado.
Yeah, because, you know, obviously, as we're seeing right here on this video, you're a photographer, but also a videographer. So you can take your camera and actually shoot video with it as well. Now we're looking at some damage, obviously. You were one of the first at one of the damaged schools almost immediately after the tornado, is that right?
That is correct. After the tornado passed to a certain extent, I thought, well, I have enough photos of the tornado itself. So I cut back, actually backtracked behind the tornado and went north to try and catch the damaged path. Cut through a few neighborhoods and just by pure luck came across the school, the Briarwood Elementary.
The Briarwood Elementary, okay. And that's what we're seeing right now. Obviously some interesting video and then some heart-wrenching video. You know, you see things like these teachers, we believe maybe are teachers, hugging these children and just some intense, you know, this woman right here was on the cover of the Oklahoman and this man right there, you know, so obviously they're famous now, my goodness, they've been all over the place. So some intense emotion, very intense emotion.
It was. I have been to some emotional things before with pandemonium, but not quite like this, due to the fact I think that it was children. And so many of them, every single one was crying. The teachers were crying, but still trying to hold it together enough to get the kids to a safe spot, get them reunited with parents as the parents arrived and so forth.
Just a little bit of that loss of innocence is what's heartbreaking. Oh my goodness.
It is, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Really.
Now you covered the May 1999 tornado. How does this compare?
Well, it's strange because it's deja vu for the people here in Oklahoma that it covers a similar path, but far more so for me because of the direction that I shot it from. I think it may have been even the same road that I was on when I was paralleling the tornado, maybe even some of the same spots I turned off to shoot it, and exactly the same way that I turned back into the path of the destruction afterward. I was there on that one probably within 3 or 4 minutes after the tornado passed also, and got some similar type pictures in the neighborhood.
To check out more of Paul and the rest of our talented photographers' incredible photos, you can go to newsok.com/multimedia/photo. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Paul did an amazing job. Now, some drove away from the storm. Others hid underground or in storm shelters. Others didn't have that choice and hid where they could. Here's what one woman and her 2 children did to try to escape the wrath of the tornado.
You went to where to pick your children up?
Plaza Towers Elementary. I got there, came home, and I know I was speeding. But we got home. I told my kids to jump out of the car, go in the house, and get in the hallway and cover their heads, like they tell them to do at school. And then I pulled that mattress off that guest room bed, pulled it in the hallway. I said, get underneath the mattress, hold on to the dogs. This is it, guys. We've got to ride it out in the house. And I had my cell phone on me. I was watching News Channel 4 on my phone. And the last thing I heard before my cell reception went dead was, get out of its way or get underground. If you're in a house or inside a structure not underground, you're not gonna make it. So I was, at that point, I just threw myself over my kids and was holding onto the kids and the dogs and just started praying, Dear God, watch over us, keep us safe, and we just wrote it out. But I mean, the sights, the things that I saw before the lights went out, and then things that you hear in the pitch black, it's undescribable. And the old saying that the tornado sounds just like a freight train. Yeah, it's true. It sounds like a train went right over my house. But the one thing I'll never forget is the eerie calm right before the tornado hit the house. It was so calm and so silent, not a sound. And then it hit. To actually come in the house and see that I was right here. I was right there. It's surreal. It's almost unbelievable.
Now, unfortunately, not everyone made it out alive. Here's one woman recounting how her husband was sucked into the deadly tornado.
We knew the storm was bad. And, I really didn't know, but I felt, instead of like terror, it was like, let him go, because I was trying to hold on to him, but it was like, let him go. And he went into the air, and we're in the same tunnel, the same space, and I stayed on the earth. My husband lived each life to the fullest each day and did the best he could on earth. And he always told me, when I go, don't grieve. You know that we've accomplished everything we're going to accomplish in life.
I can't imagine the shock she must be going through, but what an amazing strength she has. Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder helps the community of more. That's next.
With the Oklahoman Full Access, we deliver your news any way you'd like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, digital archives, and the new Oklahoman.com. Plans start at only $12 a month. And all this is free to current print subscribers. Log on to oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
I look up to you for all the things you do.
working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
We're shooting more photos at each assignment, but we're putting those into separate galleries that can be added into the iPad and online editions so that the viewers can see a lot more photographs. We can tell a lot more of the story visually, give them more detailed shots, more overall shots, just a lot more variety that really enriches their experience.
Now, how does the city of Moore react to the devastating loss from the May 20th tornado? Moore's mayor sits down with News OK's Dave Morris to talk about recovery efforts and what President Barack Obama told him after the storm.
He sat down in one of his conference rooms and had an intimate chat with the local media, talking about how things are different from this tornado from back in 1999, and he was specifically talking about some of the experiences with the federal level, especially FEMA. In fact, it didn't take 3 days this time. They were on the ground within an hour. And he also spoke about the residents of Moore, their resiliencies, and his promises of a comeback.
Basically offered his condolences to the citizens of Moore, and especially those who lost their lives. He said him and Michelle were praying for us. He was very, very concerned. He's a very connecting guy. He told us that anything we need, the federal government was basically open to us. And he said, if you look out your window, he said, I have a FEMA director fixing to land the Black Hawk helicopter. And I asked him if he was watching that in real time, and he said basically yes. We actually used thermal imagers after the first night to look for survivors. And the thermal imagers this was probably the first time they were used in a tornado disaster.
Now, many businesses and organizations have stepped up to help. The Oklahoma City Thunder is one of these. Here's how Kevin Durant and teammates showed love to a traumatized community.
Just one day after donating $1 million to the Red Cross through the Durant Family Foundation, Thunder superstar Kevin Durant was walking the streets of some of the neighborhoods hit hardest by Monday's monster tornado.
I think it's absolutely awesome. You know, I like Kevin Durant as a basketball player, and I like him more as a person now. So I think that was very generous what they did, and all of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Another service member KD ran into looked a bit familiar. Tim Krager is an Oklahoma City police officer who frequently works Thunder games. His wife, son, and mother-in-law were all home when the tornado hit, and while the house was destroyed, all emerged unscathed.
Move on from there.
Where to go but up. Move on stronger, man. That's all you can do. Keep that spirit y'all got, man. Definitely. Yeah, you got a great attitude. It's great to see. I definitely need it.
What you gonna do? This is my second one, May 3rd.
Yeah, May 3rd? Did your house get destroyed in May 3rd?
And my son that I was telling you about, he was inside that one too, in a closet. And so he's done too. No, I was at work then.
Wow.
But he's been too. I said if he.
Family, man.
Yeah.
Strong. Keep the faith. It's gonna work out.
And so the unlikely love affair between a former Longhorn and the people of Oklahoma continues. But this time it's KD doing everything he can to root on his fans and lend a helping hand when they need it most. How's that for coming through in the clutch? Damon Fontenot, News OK Sports.
Come on.
Little Grayson Ketchy was jumping for joy on Tuesday as the Thunder's Russell Westbrook, DeAndre Liggins, Hashim Thabit, and coach Scott Brooks stopped by to brighten the day of some little tornado victims, along with the emergency room staff at the OU Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City.
It's amazing to see that, you know, he's a professional basketball player who we know from nobody, and he's blowing bubbles with my son to make my son feel better. Obviously, as you can see, he's just running around like a 3-year-old who's not just been through one of the worst days of his life and probably the worst day of his life that he's going to go through. So it's amazing.
It's just a good thing to come out here and, you know, speak to these people and actually, you know, bright up their days. You know, a lot of kids was happy when they saw us, we give them the gifts and all. So, you know, it was a pretty good day for us to come back to the community.
Pictures and videos does not do it any justice. It's just so overwhelming to see all the devastation and all the. It's just such a tragedy. But I just love being able to see all the people and their fight that they have, and just their powerful words of encouragement. is just overwhelming.
Well, great guys. You can tell they are definitely committed to our incredible state. Now, coming up, Moore wasn't the only city to be hit by a tornado that flattened homes. Hear from community members who were affected by the May 19th tornado. That's next.
Social media gives readers a voice that they can interact with us in a way that I don't think they've ever been able to. And it allows us to, include their thoughts and their questions and everything in our content.
Whereas we used to just publish and just tell everybody what the news and entertainment and information was. The rest of the world wants to engage. They want to talk back. They want us to talk back to them. They want insight, they want opinion, and a lot of that is new culturally for a newspaper.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
In 2012, we had the largest concentration of Oklahoma musicians to go to South by Southwest ever. Dave Morrison and I, we talked about it. It's like, let's just do this guerrilla style, okay? We'll shoot 1 or 2 performances by an act, and then we'll get an interview, and we'll get it up as quickly as possible. So that's what we were doing. We ended up with 21 different videos, and those also included some stand-up.
Now, before the deadly tornado struck Moore, tornadoes also hit the state on May 19th, killing 2 people in the Shawnee and Kearney areas that still need help as they try to recover from the loss.
From looking around, they're completely overwhelmed. They need help. They need a lot of the same things that all the big corporations have done for Moore. That a lot of these people don't have, not only do they don't have their house, they don't have any power, they don't have a vehicle. And I think that if the media were covering it more and more people knew that these people out here still needed help, there would be more people. But without the media letting them know, you can't go help in Moore because that's so big that they've got the professionals in there, but these small communities, they will take your help. I mean, the pastor told me last night when I asked him, I said, can we come in and will they even let us in the affected areas to help? He said, honey, if you even see a police officer, he's probably going to run up and hug you. I mean, they were so ecstatic to have people out here helping because there's just more than these small towns can do by themselves.
This is a very tough time for many Oklahomans. Please remember to give to organizations helping those who've lost so much. All right, well, that's all the time we have for this edition of News OK TV, and you can watch all of these videos and much more online at newsok.com.